On June 16, 2026, Pastor Michael shared an important message about the future of water. Listen to what he said.
You saw nations going to war for oil.
आपने देखा कि राष्ट्र जो है एक दूसरे से लड़ने लगे तेल के लिए.
But there is going to be a scarcity of water all over the world.
लेकिन पूरी दुनिया में देखिए पानी की भी तंगी हो जाएगी.
I don't know if you are understanding what the Spirit of God is saying.
पता नहीं कि आप
Because now your mind is consumed with oil. The petrol prices are increasing, and E20 and E100 and God knows what. There's a debate going upon oil and petrol and diesel and so many things. But the Spirit of God says that we need to plan for water. We need to plan for water because there is going to come a time when states and nations are going to war for water.
और देखिए हमें तैयारी करना है पानी के लिए क्योंकि ऐसा भी दौर आएगा जहां पर हम देखते हैं कि राज्य में जंग छिड़ जाएगी, राष्ट्रों में जंग छिड़ेगी पानी के लिए.
Water.
पानी.
Look at somebody and say, water is a new oil.
किसी को देखकर कहे पानी एक नया तेल है.
This is what the Holy Spirit showed me.
Water has become the new oil for India, and everyone from Tata and Jio are now entering into the business of water because India has just 4% of the world's freshwater deposits but 18% of the world's population to take care of using this limited water. Now, because of this, there are essentially 4 kinds of businesses which are expected to take off over the next 5 years in India, and these are businesses which have proven to be feasible in other parts of the world, for example in Israel, in Singapore, as well as in Cape Town in South Africa. Now let's evaluate all 4 and also look at places where smaller players can enter. Now the first one is that whenever a country goes through, say, a depletion of water resources, what they do is they start moving away from fixed tariff per liter to a tiered tariff where you have to pay based on the slab or how much water you really consume. Now India, through the Jal Jeevan mission, has already partnered with a few Tata entities to solve this using IoT technologies. And even Jio has developed some kind of smart metering IoT systems which hopefully they are going to start installing across smart cities of India. But now let's look at things which are more accessible for smaller entrepreneurs. For example, the second big opportunity is actually in drip irrigation, where the government has subsidies and schemes under the Prime Minister's Krishi Sinchai Yojana, which essentially gives farmers subsidies if they use drip irrigation. So smaller players can actually start manufacturing equipments in drip irrigation, take up annual maintenance contracts, or also help them get subsidies plus financing against those subsidies for farmers. Now let's look at the third opportunity, which essentially lies in industrial clusters. So what you would have noticed has been happening over the past few years is that in a number of industrial clusters, people have been setting up solar power plants to say, I'm going to generate energy and sell it to factories around me at a rate which is lower than at which they purchase it from the local government. Now something similar is going to happen in water, where these private players are going to set up water recycling facilities. They're going to take all the wastewater from all these factories and industries, start recycling it and selling it back at a discount to these factories. That's the third opportunity. The fourth one is actually very high cost and is something that India has been importing from Israel. So Israel came up with this technology and they're the world's largest desalinator, which essentially means you take seawater and you make it useful. Now India is already in the process of setting up a desalination plant somewhere close to Chennai. So this model works close to coastal areas, but because the cost of creating water through this process is higher, it is initially used only for specialty industries. So when you have to evaluate the value chain for water, you essentially you start with measurement through meter devices. Then you look at recycling, you look at improving efficiency, for example, in agriculture, and finally new sources of generating water.